William's. We went the other way. William shouts, "Hey, got one!" So we're cruising now. Quickly go see what he's found.
It's a Gaboon viper.
Woo! William just spotted a juvenile Gaboon Adder. These are specialist camouflage, super cryptic coloration. I mean, I wouldn't have spotted it, but great find, William. Well done. Yeah. Hi guys, so it's day 2 out here in Uganda, and yesterday we had an amazing walk. We walked around a couple of the river areas looking for Gaboon Adders. There's 3 species of Bitis here in Uganda. This is the biggest one. You have the Bitis Gabonica, the Bitis narcosis, and then the puff adder, the Bitis arietans. There's 2 species. There's the eastern Gaboon Adder, which is slightly smaller, and that's found on the east coast of southern Africa, all the way from Cozy Bay, St. Lucia, Isimango, and up into Mozambique. Now in Mozambique, they've been heavily reduced due to the civil war. They're very tough to find, the eastern Gaboon Adders, and they're a lot smaller. The West African Gaboon Adder is the heaviest bodied adder in the world. I think records reach up to 15 to 16 kilos as a snake. Now you can imagine that's a snake probably with the girth of my leg. They're absolutely massive, and at that size are eating small duikers, are eating pretty much anything that comes close enough they will ingest and sink those big fangs into. They're the largest venomous snake and the heaviest venomous snake in the world. They also have the largest venom yield of any viper or any snake. You can see that big triangular head, which makes space for the big venom glands at the back. Now another record breaker. These guys have the longest fangs of any venomous snake in the world. They get up to, I think the record is between 10 to 12 centimeters for a fang. Now, I mean, that means that's going to go halfway through your arm if that gives you a proper bite. Just like the rhino viper, they are far more docile than your puff adders. She's not hissing, she's not puffing. You can see she just wants to get away. She can even come quite close to me and she's not too bothered. Whereas a puff adder will literally raise his head and will continuously come at you. Huff and puff, hence the name puff adder. These guys are far more docile, and bites are actually very, very, very rare. These snakes are also kept a lot in captivity. There is a lot of them in captivity that people are actually breeding, which is great. So there is an awesome captive population available. So please don't advocate or buy any snakes that are wild caught. People don't often advertise them as wild caught for obvious reasons. Most of the time they're illegally collected. So please make sure when you buy any form of exotic that you are making an educated decision, that you know how to keep them. A lot of these animals coming out of the wild are one of maybe 100 of survivors. Maybe one will survive the entire shipment. So they're also full loaded with parasites and are just not used to captivity whatsoever, whereas first and second generation, F1 and F2 generations of captive bred Gaboons will be far more used to the captive environment. Another interesting fact about these snakes is you can see the tongue is actually tipped black and is very, very pinky, which is absolutely stunning. Now, they also hiss and puff. They use their rostrum, they breathe the air. They've only got a single lung. As you can see, they're not very strong and not able to actually pull up their own body weight. Unlike its sister, the rhino viper, which is known to be slightly not arboreal, but is willing to climb up into the first 2-3 meters of lowland brush. These guys are very, very much terrestrial creatures. They both are sister species and are occurring in the same area, like I said, here in Uganda. We have found both the narcosis and the Gabonica here, and they actually do interbreed naturally in the wild here, which is very interesting, and it actually takes similarities of both traits. So it has that very colorful and vibrant color from the rhino viper, has the very crazy pattern and massive head of the Gaboon Adder, and then it also mixes in between all the other different elements from both snakes. It is an absolutely stunning snake to see in person. They're called gambinos, so Gaboon mixed with rhino viper, and they're also very sought after in the pet trade. Absolutely stunning snakes. Now, all these your puff adders, your rhino vipers, they all have keeled scales, the same as your egg eaters. They don't actually rasp their scales together like the egg eater does in a defense mechanism, but the keelness of the scales is to actually be able to gather dust and dirt, which will enable it to actually blend into its specific environment. If the sand were to be particularly red or brown or whatever, the gaboon would match more that coloration. So these are absolutely amazingly adapted snakes. They are completely nocturnal reptiles. They come out just before dusk and they sit around, find a little animal footpath where rats and mice and any sort of creature might be crossing the path, and they will sit there, ambush predators, and they will wait until that prey comes past and whack it with those massive fangs. Another very interesting fact is that the Gaboon Adder, as well as the rhino viper, but more so the gaboon, due to the habitat that they live in, when they bite that mouse and they strike, they actually hold onto the rat, the mouse, or its prey item. And once it's held on, it will actually slowly raise its body off the ground, the front half, to obviously help ingesting other types of leaves, etc., as well as not allowing the prey item to escape if it's still alive. So it gives it the prey item no grip, and then gives the control to the Gaboon Adder. An interesting adaptation of these snakes as well, and the Gaboon Adder has the widest range of movement of this, is their eyelids. So now obviously these snakes are not like your diurnal mambas and your twig snakes, which actually have, and worm slangs, which have binocular vision, which can actually isolate non-moving prey. So these guys, because they don't move around and actively hunt, they actually will sit completely still, coiled up in strike position, and the only thing you'll see them moving is their pupils. And they actually can independently move, just like a chameleon, but obviously the whole eye is not moving. But you can see the vertical pupil moving left, right, left, right, left, right, and constantly scanning and watching you. During breeding season, the males, if they encounter each other, will engage in ritualistic combat. If two male Gaboon Adders meet, the smaller one will generally move off, but if they're similarly sized, the two males will size each other up. And once they've sized each other up, they'll start actually coiling around each other and try and slamming and lifting their heads and trying to slam the other one to the ground into submission. This will continue until one of them gives up and moves off, which gives the male left the breeding rights to the female. So these guys have massive clutches ranging from anywhere from 10 babies up to 50, 60 babies. The world record is actually the cousin of this guy, of the Gaboon Adder, which is the puff adder. And in captivity in, I think it was Czech Republic or somewhere in Eastern Europe, a captive female gave birth to 155 live baby puff adders. This is the second snake that we found so far. I'm really excited. It's a lifer for me here in the wild in Uganda. I'm on expedition here with at Living Zoology. Please do follow their page. Please do follow their work. They do amazing, amazing stuff. If you like this video, please do like and subscribe to my channel, and please tune in for the next episode. So, see you next time. Cheers.